Hello, I am Detective Inspector Jonathan Oates, London Borough of Ealing. This is the 7th in a series of talks about local history crimes. On the 5th of August 1936, Linford Derrick walked into Ealing Police Station, which was then located on the High Street. He said to the officer on duty, "I have just murdered my best friend. Naturally, I want to talk to you all about it." This was a very unusual thing for anyone to do, to walk into a police station and openly admit to murder. The police asked him what had happened, and he gave them a long story. Linford Derrick had been an officer in the army during the First World War, following a public school education. He had separated from his wife, but he had lived in Ealing since 1933, living in a house as a boarder in Lammas Park Road and earning his money as a tennis coach. In this capacity, he had met Kathleen Wheeler and her husband Arthur Wheeler, who lived at a house in Winscombe Crescent, a Brentham estate. The three people had become great friends, and Mr. Derrick often met Kathleen Wheeler to take her out to the cinema or for shopping trips. He'd even been on holiday with the family. They were very close. A few days ago, Derrick and Mrs. Wheeler and Mrs. Wheeler's two small children went on holiday to Bognor. Unfortunately, her husband could not come with them because he, who worked as an insurance clerk in an office in the City of London, was unable to take the time off. On the night of the 4th of August, Linford Derrick and Arthur Wheeler met up for a meal and a drink. They discussed the First World War, in which both of them had fought as officers. But unfortunately, following that, there was a severe argument between the two men. In very early hours of the 5th of August, Linford Derrick, who said he could not get to sleep, decided to walk over to his friend's house, enter the house and apologise to his friend for the argument, which may seem a strange thing to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. It seems he had a key to the house, and he entered. He then met Wheeler. Wheeler was armed with a truncheon which he kept behind the front door. Wheeler accused Derrick of having an affair with his wife, or at least wanting to. He pointed to the bedroom and said, "I bet you wish you were with Kath in that room." At that point, the two men had a fight, and in the course of the fight, Derrick used the truncheon to both overpower and to kill Wheeler. Derrick initially thought he ought to make the murder look like a robbery, and he took a few items from the house before going home. When he got home, he realised he should confess, so he went to the police station and confessed. The police then, after having taken the statement, went to the house in Winscombe Crescent, searched it. They found the dead body of Arthur Wheeler, and as Derrick had said, he had been hit over the head with a truncheon and killed that way. They also interviewed some of the neighbours as well. The neighbours said that they did not hear anyone arriving at the house, but they did hear some sounds during the night. Derrick was accused of murder. He was tried at the Old Bailey, and in his defence, it was argued that it was manslaughter. It was a case of self-defence, acting against the man who was trying to kill him. The jury found that it was indeed a case of manslaughter, but he was given the verdict of guilty, which meant, fortunately for him, not a death sentence, of course, but a number of years in prison. In the early 1950s, Derrick was again living in Ealing, and again he was earning his money as a tennis coach and professional. He eventually died in 1969. It is uncertain exactly what happened on the night of the 4th of August and the morning of the 5th of August at the house in Winscombe Crescent. My personal opinion is that Derrick murdered his friend, possibly after the argument, and possibly because Derrick was jealous and envious of his friend. After all, Derrick, who had been to public school and from a privileged background, was now reduced to living in a boarding house in a single room away from his wife, whereas Wheeler was living in his own house with his wife and 2 children and had a steady job in the City of London. It seems also that Derrick, who as a tennis player was a very active, healthy and physically fit man, ought to have been able to have overpowered the more sedentary man, Wheeler, who after all was an office worker and clearly did not have the same level of physical fitness as his friend. He should have been able to overpower him if this was a case of self-defence. However, in my opinion, it was a case of murder in which he used his stronger physique to overcome the weaker man who he probably despised due to his low social status and him having had done better in life than he had. Thank you. Please remember to like the video and to subscribe to Ealing Library's YouTube channel.